Hi, I have done something that's really making me question myself if I took things too far. Recently, my 29 male wife, Ali, 28 female, had her baby shower. I made some decisions that severely affected my wife, and now I'm being called an idiot by many people. Initially, I don't think I did anything wrong, but now I am questioning myself, so I guess I'm just here to ask you guys for your opinion. My wife is pregnant, and we found out a long time ago. It's an unplanned pregnancy, so I was a little surprised when my wife excitedly waved a positive pregnancy test in my face. I will be very honest here and say that I was shocked and didn't exactly feel ready to be a father. But after the initial shock wore down, my wife convinced me that I will be a great father and that this child would be like an invisible blessing for us. I was actually starting to warm up to the idea of having a child when something strange happened. My mother in law, Helen, 48, female, started to come around more often. This is strange for several reasons. The number one reason is that we have been no contact for the last 3 years. She always had a problem with me because I came from a broken family. She isn't someone who supports divorce and stuff. Yeah, super backdated mentally. She's always said some really horrible stuff about me and how I will be a terrible father one day. Her reasoning wasn't that great, in my opinion. Now listen, I don't really have any relationship with my father after he walked out on me and my mom when I was 10. He tried to come back into my life after I turned 18, but I kept rejecting his olive branches. I still have some trauma from when he said some nasty things about me and my mom before walking out on us. So when my father came crawling back to me after pulling a disappearing act and not even bothering to pay child support, I strictly told him that he was no father to me. My mother-in-law took offense to this. No, she wasn't present when this happened. When I told her the whole story, I wanted her to understand why my parents divorced and why I refused to have a relationship with my father. Well, she wasn't happy with what I did. Somehow it was all my fault because I was stubborn and unreasonable for not forgiving my father, no matter how horrible he was. She even told me that I will be a horrible husband and father because I don't have it in me to forgive my family when they make mistakes. I can go on and on about how this woman basically villainized me and insulted me every chance she got. I tried to ignore her for my wife's sake, but had to go no contact before our marriage. Helen contacted my father behind my back and invited him to the wedding. When we found out, there was a huge fight between me and Helen, and ultimately my wife and I cut her off for good. She was invited to the wedding but was told that she would be turned away if she showed up with my father. She did just that, so we had to kick her out of the wedding too. After this, we went no contact for good, and Helen also stopped contacting or meeting with us because she thought we had wronged her or something. Anyway, fast forward to when I realized that my wife is pregnant. Helen comes by the house and starts acting like everything is fine. She even acts sickeningly sweet towards me and tells me what a great husband I am and how she has full faith in me as a father. Now, this was all very suspicious in my eyes because she literally never apologized for her actions. Also, her sudden change in behavior raised a lot of red flags. I talked to my wife, but she dismissed my concerns. She said that her mother felt guilty for not reaching out and knew it was her fault all along. She also wanted to make amends for the baby's sake. Not going to lie, I just didn't buy it that Helen suddenly changed her mind about me. So I tried to do some digging about what was going on. Some of you may call me an idiot here, but I went through my wife and her mother's chat because I didn't like how my wife was dismissing my concerns and welcoming Helen with open arms. I'm not going to get into details, but it turns out the baby may not be mine. In fact, Ali told her mother that there is a 90% chance that the baby isn't mine. I didn't take this revelation well at all. I dug deeper, found out who the affair partner was, and then, in a fit of rage, invited him to my wife's baby shower. He seemed reluctant to come, but since he was actually a good friend of my wife's, he agreed to be present. He was probably scared of looking suspicious if he didn't come after I invited him. Anyway, on to what happened at the baby shower. I was acting all normal and my wife was having a great time till her affair partner arrived. Ali and Helen both looked spooked as they ran up to him and discreetly started to ask him to leave. I stepped in and told him that he was my guest and I invited him because I knew he was the possible father of the baby. Yup, that's what I said, and I had a perfectly good smile on my face when I said it. Ali and Helen turned red with embarrassment as people gasped and started asking what was going on. Ali and Helen tried to deny everything while the affair partner just looked shocked. There was a major fight involving lots of crying and yelling. The baby shower was a disaster, and I ended up leaving the house with a friend. Now I'm at my friend's place, but my phone has been ringing non-stop since yesterday. Ali and her mother are begging me to talk to my wife, but also telling me that I'm overreacting and have been cruel to my wife by exposing her in front of everyone. A few of her friends are calling me and leaving me messages about how I ruined her baby shower, humiliated her for no reason. I know that Ali is not in the best of health right now and has a lot on her plate. I acted out of anger, and it was actually a super impulsive decision, so I kind of think there is a possibility that I took things too far. I don't know, but AITA? Edit. Some of you have been calling me a psychopath for being so calm about everything. Well, the post is a very short version of what happened. I'm not an emotionless person. As I have mentioned, there was a huge fight between me, my wife, and her mother at the baby shower. I yelled and got really mad at Ali that day, and before that I had to maintain a straight face at home because I was too busy trying to find a divorce lawyer. I was really starting to fall in love with my unborn son. Now, I don't even know if I can call him my son anymore after finding out about the cheating and all. I cried my heart out on my way to and from work every day. I stopped by a local park and got my emotions out before coming home or going to work. I do have trouble showing my emotions in public, so maybe that's another reason I came off as a cold and calculating man. I can promise you that none of this was a part of my grand, elaborate plan. It was all done on impulse, which is why I have been questioning myself right now. A lot of you had questions about the affair partner and what he did at the baby shower. Well, he was too shocked and confused to do or say anything. He stayed for a few minutes but left when Ali and I started to fight. I haven't heard from him since. I don't think I particularly care about him anyway. As for the child, don't worry. I won't give him up until I get a DNA test. I won't abandon my child if he turns out to be mine. I do plan on demanding paternity tests when my wife and I sit down with our lawyers to talk about the divorce. And yes, I'm going to divorce my wife even if the child is mine. Cheating is a hard boundary for me, and I have no interest in spending my life with an unfaithful woman. Update 1. Wow, the huge support I got from this sub has really blown me away. I seriously wasn't expecting a huge response. Special thanks to those who have been in a similar situation and personally DM'd me to share your experiences. I must say that I have been feeling much better after reading your responses, so I saw some mixed responses on my post, but most of you think that I'm NTA. Some of you voted ESH because you think I should have confirmed with my wife privately before doing this. Well, maybe, but that's water over the bridge now. I really agree with the comments that said that Ali made a choice, so she should be ready to face the consequences. She literally cheated on me and tried to tell me that the child is 100% mine. I don't think she deserves any grace for this betrayal. I came back to make a small update and address a few things that keep coming up on my post. Gonna use points to avoid ranting too much. 1. Again, I'm not emotionless or a complete psycho. As the days pass, the horrible realization of my wife's affair is just getting worse in my brain. I wish I could express in words what I'm feeling. I have been a mess. My friends and family know how miserable I was. Believe it or not, I was actually looking forward to having a child before everything blew up. I tried my best to face my fears and even signed myself up for therapy because I wanted to be a good father. I guess therapy will be helpful right now anyway. 2. I don't plan to abandon my child if he turns out to be mine. I know there is still a minor possibility that I might be the father, but I'm not very hopeful. We had been super careful. I know things happen, but there is a very small chance that our birth control methods failed. I guess that should have been my biggest red flag. I just didn't even want to entertain the possibility that my wife was cheating on me. 3. My wife and I check into each other's phones sometimes. Her chats with her affair partner were barren, but for some reason she wasn't able to delete her conversations with her mom before I got hold of them. I think she did delete older messages, but I saw the newer ones before she had the chance to wipe them out. Yes, I know the affair partner very well. Let's call him Ryan, 28, male, for the sake of this post. He and my wife are very good friends, and he had been a groomsman in my wedding as per my wife's request. No, he didn't show any red flags for me to think that he was interested in ruining my marriage. Maybe I'm blind or colorblind, I don't know. 5. No, I saw no signs of my wife's cheating. Helen's involvement was why I got suspicious. I wasn't even looking to find out if my wife was cheating on me. I just wanted to see why Ali was being so dismissive of my concerns with Helen and why Helen was being so nice to me. 6. I left the house because, at the end of the day, I didn't want to kick out a heavily pregnant woman on such short notice. The house is not marital property, but she can classify herself as a tenant, I guess. Anyway, I thought I should clear these points before getting on to the update. So, many of you have been curious about the affair partner, or Ryan, as we would call him in this post. Well, we are going to get some answers about his side of the story soon. He actually got in touch with me this morning and practically begged me to talk to him. Frankly speaking, I don't know what he wants to tell me. He should have known better than to sleep with a married woman, so I don't think he can paint himself as an innocent party here. But I agreed to meet with him because I'm simply curious. There is also the fact that I need to talk to him about the paternity test to see what he's thinking about it. I'm also hoping to find some dirt on my wife from him so that I can use it in the divorce. I don't think Ali will allow me to leave the marriage in peace, and neither will Helen. Like I said, my mother-in-law is very old-fashioned, so I don't think she would approve of her daughter getting divorced and all. I'm starting to think that this is the reason why Helen had been buttering me up all this time. She didn't want me to divorce her daughter if she got caught. I'm still a little confused about how Helen got involved in this because Ali was supposed to be no contact with her for the last 3 years. Maybe she lied about that too. Who knows? At this point, I don't trust her one bit. She has already proven herself to be a big fat liar. Ali and Helen are still trying to talk to me and all, but I'm ignoring them. I will have Ali served tomorrow, so I'm expecting them to amp up their crazy. I will try to make an update once I talk to Ryan and have more answers, but for now, this is it. Update 2. Just got back from talking to Ryan. I haven't spoken to anyone yet. My friend is giving me space, probably because he knows how upset I am. I have mentioned before that I don't like showing emotion in front of people, so I can't scream or cry at his house. Man, I miss being in my own house. I could really do with some alone time today. The talk with Ryan went well, I guess, but it put me in a worse place emotionally. I don't feel like talking to my friends and family about the details of the affair right now. It's embarrassing enough to get cheated on in the first place, and now the details are going to make it just worse. I went to talk to Ryan, fully expecting him to prove himself to be the low life I thought he was. But I was super embarrassed to find out that Ryan is in a terrible position too. Ryan told me very clearly that he has trouble understanding what went on between him and Ali. I asked him how long they had been having an affair, and he said that it was a one time thing. That one shocked me a little because I really thought this was a long term affair. But Ryan says that they hooked up just one night. It happened when I was out of town visiting a friend of mine who was in a coma from a horrible car crash. Allie was supposed to be out bar hopping with her friends. I was invited but had to cancel because of an emergency, so Ryan told me that Ali offered to drive him home since he had been pretty wasted after their outing ended. Ryan didn't think much of it until they were inside their house. Apparently, Ali wanted to tuck him in and all the shebang. Then things happened and they ended up hooking up. I don't know what to think of this story. If it's really true, then my wife clearly has bigger issues than cheating. Ryan was very apologetic and kept saying sorry over and over again. He said that he had been begging Ali to tell me the truth, but she kept guilting him into staying quiet. She even told Ryan that he would be breaking up a perfectly good family and ruining a baby's life if he spoke to me. Not once had Ali hinted that the child may be his, so it didn't occur to Ryan that he probably didn't use protection that day. He came to the party because he couldn't say no to me without looking guilty of something. He wasn't expecting me to tell everyone that he is the possible father of Ali's child. This entire story just made me sick to my stomach. I had a hard time digesting what I heard. The worst part was that Ryan wasn't even concerned about himself. He was just hysterical because he thought he was to blame for hurting me. I didn't say much to him. I apologized for publicly airing everything at the baby shower and told him that I didn't know that he was unaware of the baby being possibly his. We talked about everything some more, but I left soon after because I literally couldn't stomach what I heard. Now I am here giving you this update and wondering how I will get over this nightmare. I am extremely emotionally overwhelmed right now, so I won't get into any more details. I will probably come back tomorrow with another update once I'm in a better place. Update 3. Hi guys, I promised you another update, so here it is. After making the last update, I talked to my friend and told him everything. He was as disgusted as I was. He could also see that I had been severely affected by Ryan's story, so he told me to take some time off while he did the digging. Not going to lie, but I needed to confirm the story and get Ryan some help if it's really true, so I had my friend reach out to some of Ali's friends. I only told him to contact those who didn't send me threatening messages. Thankfully, they responded and even gave their side of the story. Unfortunately, everyone confirmed that Ryan was basically drunk as a fish when Ali took him home. My friend didn't tell them anything but convinced them to reach out to Ryan because he needs some help. I think they knew something was up, so they probably talked to him. I haven't heard back from Ryan or Ali's friends yet. Ryan did leave a message saying that he was ready to get paternity tests to see if the child is his. That's all he has said to me so far. Sorry guys, I wish I had more updates for you, but this is it for now. I have been planning to meet with Ali and her mother with our lawyers present because I need to talk to both of them one last time. I need to confront her and see for myself what rotten human beings they are. Please don't tell me not to do this. I have already made up my mind. I need some answers from my wife, and I need to hear it from her mouth. This will be our final meeting without divorce lawyers. I can promise you that. Update 4. Hi guys. So sorry I haven't been back here sooner. It's been a week since my last post, and well, life is moving on just like I had expected. I'm still getting divorced. My wife had been served the divorce papers long ago. She was actually served on the day I went to talk to Ryan. After getting served, she literally went crazy trying to contact me. I informed you in the last update that I agreed to meet her and Helen. I chose a neutral location in a public place. Ali and Helen knew that they couldn't argue with me, so they agreed to whatever I wanted. I went to meet them 4 days ago. The meeting didn't go well at all. Yes, I got my answers, and yes, I was able to get some revenge, but it doesn't feel like I have won. Firstly, I asked her to tell me what happened between her and Ryan. She cried hard and only said that it happened once. She cried harder when I confronted her with the circumstances of her cheating. She had no answers for that. I didn't ask her why. Her friends had already reached out by then and informed me that Ali always had a major crush on Ryan, which he never reciprocated. I don't know why she was obsessed with him. She literally destroyed her character and her marriage for an obsession. It's just, I don't even know what to say. Ali couldn't get much out after this. She just cried like a mad woman. Interestingly, Helen was the one who did most of the talking. This stupid woman who thought so lowly of me was now begging me to forgive her daughter. Yep, that happened. She also apologized for the way she had insulted me all those years ago and told me that now she knew I would be a great father. Then she went on to tell me that she believes I can still be a great father to Ali's child. This little witch had the audacity to tell me that I should just forget what happened and continue this sham of a marriage. She wanted me to skip the DNA test and just consider the child mine. Apparently, if I didn't take the test, it would be easy for me to think that the child is mine. I just stared at my crazy mother-in-law while she went on and on about how I could just forgive and forget. Then she had the audacity to say that this was my chance to prove that I am not like my father. After hearing this, I simply started laughing, but it definitely didn't have any humor in it. I told Helen to get lost, told my wife to get out of my house, and told them both that the divorce and paternity tests are happening. I just walked out before they could say anything more. They sure did try to stop me, but I drove away without even bothering to turn around and hear them out. I went back home and tried my best to deal with my emotions. I won't get into that because it's irrelevant. I know that some of you have been really concerned about me, so I would like to tell you that I won't do anything stupid. For now, I'm trying to stay focused on getting a divorce and breaking off this ridiculous marriage as soon as possible. A lot of you had questions about Ryan. Well, I have no updates for you. He needs to deal with his own demons while I deal with mine. I haven't contacted him and I'm not sure what he's going to do right now. I will be pushing for a DNA test as soon as Ali gives birth. Maybe I will reach out to him after that. I can say for sure right now it looks like the next update is going to be a while later because I want to come back with some positive news. Update 5. Time really flies, doesn't it? I'm free, guys. I got a divorce. Ali tried to fight me as best she could, but that didn't stop me or the courts. It wasn't a smooth ride getting here, but I'm just thankful that I am finally free from that monster of a woman. So sorry for not making an update for months. I was really busy with the courts and everything and didn't want to make an update without seeing my divorce come through. I was also waiting to find out if Ali's child belongs to me. It was extremely bittersweet to know that the child isn't mine. On one hand, I am grateful that I don't have to be attached to that woman for life, and on the other hand, I feel this strange emptiness inside me even now. I prepared myself for months to have a baby, but it was all for nothing. I got a paternity test done fairly easily. I had enough proof to suspect that the child wasn't mine. I don't have my name on the birth certificate. I was tempted to go and see the baby once he was born, but my lawyer had already drilled it into my head that I could get manipulated into stuff about the baby, so I didn't visit. Once I knew for sure that her child wasn't mine, I didn't feel like torturing myself by seeing the child who I thought would be mine. Sorry for the rant, guys. I haven't been able to share these emotions with anyone in my life. I have been going to a therapist, but I still have a lot of trouble opening up to people, especially in person. I guess I will have to get over it for my own sake now. Anyway, even after the baby was born and the paternity test results were out, Helen and Ali kept harassing me, begging me to take responsibility for the child, but I simply ignored their messages and their attempts to talk. They sort of gave up after a few months when the divorce became inevitable. Plus, they had some bigger issues to worry about by then. I have received a lot of DMs asking me about Ryan and people telling me that he should be pressing charges. Some of you even asked me to convince him to press charges. Listen here, in real life, people don't just magically overcome traumas like that and then go mad seeking revenge. In most cases, the trauma actually destroys them. Ryan is unfortunately one of them. From what I have heard from Ali's ex-friends, Ryan spiraled hard once his friends made him realize that he had been a victim. Things got bad for him, so by the time his child was born, he wasn't allowed to be all by himself anymore. I won't go into details of what happened to him. He is still not in his right mind even now. His family is taking care of him and also checking on the baby. As far as I know, they're talking to the police and want to get Ali charged. They are just waiting for Ryan to be a little more stable before making any major decisions. They've also contacted CPS and given them the whole story. I think Ryan's family found some messages on his phone that could be used against Ali. Again, all this is second-hand information. Now, I don't press for details, so I can't say for sure what's going on there. But it does look like Ali's son will be taken away one of these days and placed with Ryan's family. I'm only staying in touch with Ali's ex-friends, who had dropped her like a hotcake after my friend made that call months ago. We've all been in contact because even I am worried about Ryan and want to help in whatever way possible. So that's what's going on right now. This is unfortunately going to be my last update because I don't have anything else to share after this. Ryan's story is his and I don't want to reveal too much sensitive information. Right now I'm trying to heal myself and turn my life around. Thank you so much for your support and wishes for my well-being. I never thought opening up to internet strangers could be such a great experience. You guys have really helped me a lot in the past few months, and I am grateful for that. I just wanted you to know that. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.